Hello everyone, my name is Ashley and today on my channel I'm going to be doing the spring reading tag, hence the flowers, try to get a little floral, you know, in the spirit of spring. And I first saw this tag video on one of my new favorite channels, Kristen's Library, and I will leave a link to her channel and her video down below. I really like what she's putting out, I like what she's reading, and I am excited to see more from her. She's a new booktuber, so I will again leave links to all her goods down in the doobly-doo. So the spring reading tag is a series of 8 questions that are spring themed that all have to do with books, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. So the first question is, what books are you excited to read over the next couple months? And there are quite a few that I'm looking forward to. One of the first ones is the next book in the Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan. I am super looking forward to this. This has been one of my favorite series that has come out since Heroes of Olympus. I have tried the Magnus Chase series and the Kane Chronicles since Heroes of Olympus was released, but I didn't really like either of those that much, so I was really excited when the first Trials of Apollo book came out last year in early May, and I'm really excited for the second Trials of Apollo book, which is released, I think, like maybe the second Tuesday in May, and that is probably my highest, most anticipated read of the year. I'm also anticipating reading Lily Collins's autobiography, Unfiltered. I got it when it was released last month, and I've been looking forward to it ever since I saw on Instagram that she was in the process of publishing it and distributing it and stuff like that, and I'm really looking forward to reading this soon. It's pretty short, and I should probably get through it fast, and I just adore Lily Collins so much, and I'm very interested to see more about her story and her life. I'm also anticipating finishing the last book in the Vampire Academy series, Last Sacrifice. This is one of my top reading goals for the whole year, is to finish off the Vampire Academy series. I just finished book 5 about a month and a half ago, so this is the final book in the series, and it has been a long time coming. I think I've been reading these for about 2.5 years now, so really looking forward to finishing this in probably the next month and a half at the very least. I want to finish this before summer starts, so looking forward to that. And finally, I'm also looking forward to reading the last 2 books in the Parasol Protectorate series. So we have number 4, which is Heartless, and number 5, which is Timeless. I read the first 3 books in the last 2 months, and I've really been invested in them. I super love them. They're amazing. They're everything I could have wanted in the series, so I'm really excited to finish these off. And Gail Carriger has 2 other series that are kind of set in the same universe that I'm going to move on to once I finish these, but I'm really anticipating reading these, and I'm dying to get to them as soon as possible. Question 2 is, what book makes you most think of spring? And there are a lot of YA contemporaries that I know I probably could have picked just because their cover is very sort of spring themed, but most of those take place during the summer, so none of those really fit for me. So I ended up choosing First and Then by Emma Mills. One, because this cover reminds me of spring. The colors itself kind of connotate spring for me, just like the Easter sort of colors in them. Also the rain, you know, I think to myself, April showers bring May flowers, so that reminds me a lot of spring. Also, this book takes place over multiple months in a high school year, not just over like the summer months, so that also reminds me of spring and classes and being in school and stuff. And it's also a fluffy YA contemporary, so that connotates spring reading for me. So just in multiple ways, this book reminds me most of spring. Question 3, the days are getting longer. What is the longest book that you've read? And that has to be one of these hunkers. So either City of Heavenly Fire, which clocks in at about, let's see, 725 pages, or Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, which clocks in at about 795 pages. So these are definitely the 2 longest books that I have ever read, and boy, are they long. They make everything else seem like a piece of cake after having read these, honestly. They're just so daunting, but they're both so worth it. Question 4, what books would you recommend to brighten someone's day? So I have a couple. Firstly, definitely My Lady Jane by Cynthia Han, Jodi Meadows, and Brody Ashton. I just read the audiobook of this about 2 months ago, and it was fantastic. It is super funny and just lighthearted and has like this really cool alternate history element to it, and it's just not gonna bog you down. It will definitely brighten your day and make you happy and make you laugh, and just has all of the great things. So that would be the first one I would recommend. But I would also recommend The Fill-In Boyfriend by Cassie West. Cassie West is a YA contemporary author author, and most of her stuff is pretty light. I would say this is the most light of all of them just because it doesn't have quite as many serious topics as some of the other ones. The other ones kind of deal with like a girl who has anxiety or people whose parents have passed away, things like that. So this is one of the more fluffy ones of hers that doesn't have such hard or serious topics in it, so that's why I would recommend this one of hers. I'd also recommend Morgan Matsson's Since You've Been Gone. Again, similarly with Cassie West, this is one that has slightly less serious topics with it. You know, it doesn't have any like deaths in the family or anything like that. So this is a lot easier to digest than some of Morgan Matsson's other works, which are all also YA contemporary. So that's why I would recommend this one, because it is definitely the lightest of all of them and will brighten your day. And finally, I couldn't not include Percy Jackson in this question. This is just like the best book series of all the books. So it is just a middle grade series that is really easy to read and really fun to read, full of action, but still like a lot of good heartwarming, heart-clenching moments, and I just think this is the perfect book to brighten anyone's day. It'll definitely get through like any dark times that you may have. Question 5. Spring brings new life in nature. Think of a book that doesn't exist but that you wish did. For me, this would be like a fiction book about a young woman or girl, kind of probably like in the new adult sort of age, so like 23-ish area, who had in the past had been maybe sexually assaulted, and how she has dealt with that, so her life a couple years after the actual event, and the sort of things that still trigger her, how she's doing, what her life is like, and just basically her story of how she's getting through each day and through her life while having had this like traumatic event happen to her. And I would really like a story, again fictional, that was a book like that. Question 6. Spring is also a time of growth. How has your reading changed over the years? So predominantly a couple years ago I was mostly reading like really dense classic fiction, so a lot of old Greek stuff, a lot of Middle English like Chaucer and things like that, and so I was really reading those things and also reading them in a really analytical way because I was in school. And since then I have really moved from being that analytical and reading that heavy classical material, and I've been reading a lot more, you know, fiction that is modern and contemporary and things that I just pick up on a whim because they sound good and I don't have to worry about analyzing them or writing an essay on them. So that is the main way my reading has changed over the years. I'm also a lot more picky about my young adult just because I've read so much of it now, because, you know, I'm in my late 20s at this point, and so I've read pretty much all the young adult that has interested me. So I'm a lot more picky about it because I know that I just basically have read most of the like young adult tropes and young adult stories, so it's really hard for me to feel like something is new or fresh or original when I read it. So I've been steering away from young adult more in very recent years and reading a lot more like fantasy, just because that's more engaging because of the world building. So those are the main ways that my reading has changed over the past years. Question 7. We're a couple of months into the new year. How is your reading going? It's going pretty well, actually. I am way ahead of my reading challenge. I only wanted to read 36 books this year, and I've read roughly 25 already, I believe, but I set that bar low just because I didn't want to pressure myself on how many books I read the whole year, so I knew if I hit it early I wouldn't be pressured about it the rest of the year. So that is on track to happen, and I'm really enjoying what I'm reading so far. I do kind of wish that I had been reading more nonfiction these past months, but there's still plenty of time to do that and to catch up on that goal. So far it's going pretty well, I'd say. Question 8. Any plans that you're looking forward to in the next few months? Definitely. I am seriously hoping to get a new job because I am eligible for a promotion at my current job I have now, and I really need to get the hell out of it. So I'm looking forward to possibly getting a new job in the next few months. And my husband and I just finished going to New Orleans and Chicago, so that was a wonderful trip. But we do have some other sort of summer plans that are going to be happening. We're hoping to go to Harry Potter World, so there's a couple other things happening over the summer despite us having just had a trip. So I'm really looking forward to that as well, and mostly just hanging out with my friends, you know, being outside and enjoying the sunshine and their wonderful company. And that was it. That was the spring reading tag. I'm not going to tag anybody in particular, but if you like these questions and feel like doing it yourself, consider yourself tagged by me. Just leave your video in the comment below and I would love to check it out. And thank you guys so much for watching, and feel free to subscribe if you like this video. Happy reading!